and welcome back to another review by DG. And this time we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to be reviewing a fighting game. Yes, a fighter, not an RPG. And this time it's going to be Rival Schools for PS1. And I don't normally do anything outside of RPGs. That's really loud. But I wanted to do something a little bit different this time because I had never played this before until recently, and I just beat it, so I definitely want to get into it and give my thoughts and opinions, so let's get started! Now, whenever it comes to fighters, I mainly stick to Tekken. That's mainly what I stick to whenever it comes to fighters nowadays because of the fact that, over time, my taste, has been more acclimated towards RPGs, platformers, and fighters have just kind of waned off over time. So I wanted to actually give this one a try for the longest time because I've heard nothing but good things. And apparently there's also a sequel on Dreamcast called Project Justice, which I have never played either. As many of you know, I didn't grow up with the Dreamcast. I played one in a friend's house whenever I was younger, and then whenever I got in my early 20s, I acquired my first Dreamcast ever. And my Dreamcast collection is kind of sparse, not like my PS1 collection, which is crazy. But I do plan on going for a full Dreamcast set. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. Now, when it comes to this fighter, apparently this was released in arcades and then it was ported over to PlayStation 1. And you know me, like I said, I didn't grow up playing this, so I knew nothing about Rival Schools. I didn't know anything about it. So I guess the premise of what it is that you are different schools and you're like fighting basically to protect your schools. And that's the premise that I got from this. That's all I really know about it. Now, my copy, I got this, in a trade, which I was pretty excited about. It doesn't have the manual, but I'm okay with that. But it's still a cool ad. So, going through the menu. Now, before I do that, there are two discs with this game. There's the arcade disc, which I have in here, and that's the one I actually recently played and beat. And then, we actually also have another disc in here, too. It says disc 2, and that's the Evolution disc. I don't know what that is exactly. I need to actually give that a try sometime. But now, today, we're going to be focusing on the arcade disc only. So, you have training, options. Now, with options, you have different choices whenever it comes to difficulty. This game is hard as big ass balls. Holy shit. Now, like I said before, I'm really rusty when it comes to fighters. I don't play them as much as I used to. Even Tekken, as much as I, go on about Tekken is still the only one I actively play, but sadly, I haven't even played Tekken 8 yet. It's still sitting in there in my living room ready for me to play it. I got it pre-ordered. I got it from PS5. Haven't touched it yet. That's how bad it is whenever it comes to new gen games. They just sit there and they wait longingly for me to play them. But anyway, this game is very difficult. So whenever I beat it, it was actually on the 2-star for the CPU difficulty. And that's still fucking hard as hell. And then everything that you see is what I had whenever I actually went through and played through the entire game. Now, I played through the game twice, technically. I actually gave it 2 times because the first time I played it for about 6 hours and I did not beat it because the last boss, I'll explain that in just a second, I got to him and he was literally riding my ass. I could not beat that dude. And then when I went back and played it a second time, I beat that fucker. He was a pain in the fucking butthole. But I managed to beat him. That fucking Zex Marquis knockoff. If you don't know who Zex Marquis is, look it up. Or if you're a Gundam fan, Gundam Wing specifically, you'll know who I'm talking about. He kind of looks like him, but he has his hair pulled back in a ponytail. So just imagine going up against that guy. But anyway, you have your CPU difficulty, attack power, timer speed, 2 matches, yada 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 yada. Everything, you get the gist about how menus work. And then of course you have versus, you have record, I guess that's to record, that's to record your stuff on the memory card. Extras, I don't know what that is. So let's go ahead and do 1 player. And now here's the thing about this game. I didn't know this until too late. So you'll see that you're from different high schools. You have Batsu. He's from, I guess that's Taiyo High School. I'm sorry about my pronunciation about, the characters in the high schools in advance because I don't always pronounce things correctly, so I do apologize in advance for that yet again. Now, you'll notice that they're all from the same high school, and you have this high school too. Now, the thing is, you have to actually pick characters from the same high school. At least I think that's what I understand. And basically, if you, like, let's say you're fighting, and then you're like, oh, I want to choose different characters. Well, guess what happens? If you do that and you're playing story mode, you gotta start all over again. I didn't know that until I was like, why do I keep going back? I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just, I wasn't really paying attention, too much. I was trying to focus on chat and then also on the game. So I'm trying to do multitask. And I wasn't realizing what was happening until I'm like, wait a minute, I've already done this. What the hell's going on? Because I was just trying to get a feel for the game, trying to go through all the characters to see who would actually fit me best. And apparently you can't do that. So the other thing about the same high school, so basically the thing that I found out also is that I don't know if there's different endings for this. I think there is, but there's like bad endings and then there's like the good endings, I think. I don't really know everything about this game. I'm just going off what I've experienced. So basically if you pick, like, let's say if you pick Natsu, and if you pick Batsu, if you pick those two and you actually go through all 7 chapters, I think you actually get the bad ending. They have to be from the same high school for you to get the true ending or the good ending. That's what I was mentioning earlier. So that's one thing that you want to be aware of, is make sure to pick the characters from the same high school so that way you can get the good ending. So these are the 2 characters that I actually used whenever I played. I think her name is Hinata and then also Kyosuke. That's the 2 that I had whenever I played, so that's who I'm gonna go with. And let's go! Now loading. Now, whenever I picked her, she kind of reminded me of Ling Xiaoyu from Tekken. So that's one thing that I wanted to mention too. So whenever I noticed her moveset, I'm like, okay, she kind of plays like Ling Xiaoyu from Tekken, so I may be able to get through this a little bit better. We're just gonna skip the story so that way, you can experience it on your own. Now, of course, you have 7 chapters throughout the game, and then, like I said, if you play with the right characters, you'll get to actually beat the final boss, that fucking Zex Marquis knockoff fucker. Anyway, now, the movesets are kind of strange, so you see that there's a meter at the bottom. I really don't know. I guess that's actually your kind of power-up that you have. I think it can go up to, like, 9 or max, I want to say. So, basically, you have your kicks, you have your punches, characters have different movesets. You can actually do, like, whenever it comes to, your character, you can do this. You can actually go in together and hit and actually win the battle together. I'll show you in just a second. KO! Okay, so I won that one by myself. So you see the V at the top, that means victory. I think it's BV whenever both of us actually, destroy the character at the same time. That'll mean it's like I guess it means like both victory, double victory, I don't know, but I'm guessing that's what it means. Like I said, I know some about this game, but I just wanted to talk about my experience with it. Now, as far as like power-ups, it's not just, working together with the power-ups. You can actually do your own too. There's different ones that you can do, like that. Fire! The fire legs! Woo! But anyway, that's one thing that you can do. Now, there's different movesets that you can do, like with the triggers up top. You can hit like L1 and R1 to do a specific one. You can do R2 and L2 to do a specific one. There's a moveset list, I'm sure, out there somewhere. But I don't have the manual, so it's not in here with me. So I'm pretty sure it's online somewhere if you need it. I never looked it up. I was pretty much just, pulling it out of my ass and trying to learn stuff on my own. I don't think there's a menu for the actual movesets. I'll check that in just a minute. That's actually a good idea, because most of the time, at least in Tekken, there are moveset menus that you can actually look at for the characters that you're playing as. So that's one thing. Now, with this, as far as the game goes, whenever I first experienced it, I was struggling. There were specific fights that I struggled with so hard, and I was getting my ass hammered, literally hammered to the ground. It was that hard for me to deal with this game. He kind of reminds me of Jin Kazama whenever I see him. It's the gloves. But there's a specific duo. It's like the nurse and I think like one of the principals from one of the high schools. They're like the second to last boss fight that you have to do. They're like chapter 7, I believe. They are a pain in the fucking ass. They are so fucking hard. But anyway, so another thing that you have to do in order to unlock the true ending too, I believe, is you have to actually hit, like, the, whenever you fight the next to last boss, like the Santa Claus dude. I can't remember his name, but I just call him Santa Claus. I'm like, Christmas is coming early, motherfucker! But if you don't hit him with, like, both your characters and do that dual move, not that, then you won't be able to unlock the final boss either. At least I think that's how it works, from what I understand. Motherfucker, see how hard this shit is? But anyway, as far as that goes, of course, you have your health meter at the top, you have your moveset. Now, with the CPU, they can be really difficult, you know, depending on the characters themselves. Now, whenever it says change player, here's the thing about that. You can change your player in between fights, but that's it. It's not like Tekken Tag whenever you can call them in and, like, fight. Pretty much you're stuck with the character that you pick before the next fight begins. So that's another thing that I wanted to point out, too. At least that I know of. I don't think there's any other way to get your other character out other than doing, like, the dual move like that, like I mentioned. And he's not— shit nugget! Oh, another thing, that's a good idea that I mentioned that. If you are not in close proximity to the character whenever you do those special moves like I just did, you'll notice that I screwed that up and wasn't able to hit anything because I was too far. If you're not close enough, you won't be able to hit it. And of course they can block it too, which can be a pain in the fucking ass! That's another thing. Oh yeah, I guess 9 is max. So you'll see it's maxed out! It's another good thing to have a lot of those, especially for the final boss, because the moves that he does are so fucking difficult to fucking try to figure this shit out. There is a way that you can actually get through as far as, like, trying to avoid, you know, specific hits. This is different. I feel like I'm going to get up against that principal dude early. What the fuck? Oh yeah, this is a fight. Okay, so there is a fight whenever you go through this. I don't know about the other characters, but, like, that's the Santa Claus guy that I was talking about. And anyway, whenever you go through this, you actually can't beat this guy. You're supposed to lose this fight and then move on to chapter 4, I believe. There's no way to win it. Because, see, I'm not even doing any damage to him. Now, you'll see in the corner on the right-hand side up next to the character's little icon, I think that's the emblem for their school. I don't really know. It looks like it because the old dude, Mr. Santa Claus, looks like he has a piece of pizza next to his name. I don't really know if that's what it is. I'm guessing yes. I'm just going to let him win because you can't win this fight. It's not possible. So, like I said, see, it's loading. So then we go on to chapter 4, and we'll just skip that. Now, as far as, like, what I think about the game in general, I like the game, but it's definitely hard. But there's some funny moves too, especially with this character sets like these two. The dude with the bat and the volleyball chick is fucking hilarious. I hope they do one of those moves that I'm thinking of. I think it's kind of like to regain health, but it's just the way that it's done is just fucking funny. Only certain characters have that ability. We don't have that I know of. At least I don't think so. Oh shit! Fucking fireballs! I do not like fighting this girl. Anyway, now you'll notice that he's gone in the screen. If you don't have at least 2, for that you can't actually do a dual fight. Anyway, yeah, that's one thing about this. Sega! It sounds like she says Sega every time she does that. Damn it, still didn't whip her ass. Mother F! Yeah, I told you, some of these bosses are fucking hard. Really hard! Ah! I'm gonna lose. Oh, maybe not! KO! Man, now the batter guy, he can be a pain in the ass. Like I said, some of these bosses are very annoying. Now, what was I saying? Oh, yeah! Excuse me. What my thoughts on this game? It will definitely hurt your fucking hands if you're not used to playing fighters like myself anymore. So, if you're up for a good time whenever it comes to whipping ass and something different, definitely check out Rival Schools. It's not a cheap game to acquire as far as that goes. I don't think it was released on anything else other than, you know, the arcade and on the PS1 port. I could be wrong on that, but that's just all I know as far as that goes. I'm gonna get my ass whipped. But anyway, there are ways to avoid this dude. If you do like R1, it's R1 and L1, you're able to avoid attacks. That's a way to cheese this from what I've been told. Shit! See, I wasn't close enough. I am now! Better up, big boy. But anyway, Oh, motherfucker! Dude! See, I fucking got KO'd! But anyway, if you want something that'll hurt your fucking thumbs, that'll literally put you through everything, through any kind of hell whenever it comes to fighters and test your limits out, definitely check out Rival Schools. It's definitely worth the hype as far as, you know, what people have said about it. My rating for it, I'm honestly not a big fighter, you know, fan anymore. Fighters rank, I think, as far as that goes on my genre list, 4th. So I would probably rank this a 8 out of 10. Because like I said, this game can be pretty difficult, even on a low setting, like 2 stars. And it will literally make your hands have a blister. It did me. No, don't get close, oh shit! It did me. I literally got blisters on my fucking hands from this damn game. And I had to wait about a week before I played it again. But as far as the story, I think it's actually pretty cool to see, you know, like the different characters, the movesets. I like how it is different with, like, you know, as far as like the tag teaming goes. And it's not a very long game to play as far as that. So the only caveat is trying to acquire the game because, like I said, it is pretty expensive. I think whenever I talked about it last time, it's around 140 bucks complete in box. And you can get it, you know, anywhere from like 80 to 100 without the manual. You know, it just really depends. You don't really normally see too much of it, but it's definitely one of Capcom's, you know, greater fighting games, at least for the PlayStation 1 in my opinion. But that's my review on Rival Schools. I just wanted to go over that with you guys. I hope that you enjoyed seeing me get my ass kicked at least one time in this game, and it's definitely been fun. But until next time, this is the PlayStation Girl signing out. Game on!